All right. I love it. I love it. All right. Welcome back to another Tuesday with Mike and Mike. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It looks like it's gonna storm outside, but doing great. Had a great weekend, and yesterday was a great talk. So I'm pumped for this one too.
Yeah. So this one will keep it more related or directly related, more tactical, we'll say, to short-term rentals. So what's our topic for today? What do we want to cover?
Co-hosting, just very
Co-hosting.
basic. What is co-hosting? What are some strategies that you see people taking? I know that's the method that you took primarily after buying your first one. So I've got a few co-hosting properties now, but we get a lot of questions on what is co-hosting, how much money can you really make, how do I get started? We get a ton of questions, so let's cover that today and get into it.
Yeah, sure. So before we dive into it, I'll just say too, if you haven't watched the free masterclass at strsecrets.com, check that out because I break this down and go through some specific case studies to show you what is co-hosting, what kind of numbers can you do, all of that in a lot more depth than we'll be able to cover today. So go check that out for sure. And that's at strsecrets.com and just click on the free masterclass up top. So with that being said, I mean, yeah, I got started. I pulled a loan out of my 401k to buy my first property and it did great. And then I was like, sweet, this is awesome, but I can't live off of $1,500 a month, right? Like I can't retire off of that. And I didn't have any more money to keep buying more deals. So I needed to find another way to keep growing the portfolio without any money, right? And I know rental arbitrage is big and that totally works, but I didn't even have enough money for first month's rent, last month's rent, security deposit, and furniture. Like I just didn't have the cash to do it at the time. So what I started doing was looking for landlords that had properties that they were trying to rent as long-term rentals. And I would just approach them and I would just say, hey, look, you've got this great property. Have you ever considered running it as a short-term rental? And some of them had no idea what the hell I was talking about. Some of them told me to kick rocks. And some of them were like, oh, like, what is that? What do you mean? And I'm like, well, if you invest in some items to furnish this property, we could 2 to 5x the revenue on this. Even if, let's just say we only made you an extra $500 a month, say it costs you 10,000 to furnish it, right? All the furniture, the towels, the toiletries, soap, shampoo, you name it. Say it's 10,000, but you made an extra $6,000 a year on it. That's a 60% cash on cash return. Are you getting 60% anywhere else on your money? And obviously that pitch got refined over time. It was a lot clunkier at the beginning and I looked pretty foolish initially, but over time I kind of refined that and figured out what worked. And so essentially you're partnering with a landlord that has a property that's vacant and you're just running it for them as a short-term rental. And Airbnb makes it really easy to do that. I mean, you can literally just sign up as a co-host and literally just co-host their property. So you're communicating with the guests for the owners, you're coordinating any cleanings, maintenance, restocking supplies, doing all that stuff just as a co-host. And it's a great way to get in the game for no money because there's a lot of people out there that have money but don't have time or don't have the inclination to learn how to run this business. So if you can come in and offer them a solution that's turnkey, that you're going to do everything for them and you'll just take a small percentage of what the property brings in, it's a win-win all the way around. But the beauty is with short-term rentals is they bring in so much more money that percentage adds up for you. And there's still so much meat left on the bone that they're still going to make way more money working with you. So you'll see this in the master class, but I use this analogy of like, if you look at all the unicorn companies of today, Amazon, Facebook, Uber, YouTube, like all these different platforms, none of them actually own the assets. They don't own the cars. They don't own the properties. They don't own the inventory. They just play the middleman and they just make it easy for people to do business. And that's all that we're doing as a co-host is we're just facilitating it. So somebody has a property that they could rent out, but they don't know how to do it. Cool. Then we'll play the middleman and connect them with the guests that are going to be staying there. And we'll facilitate everything and we'll take care of everything. And when we do that, I teach people to charge 25%. I wouldn't go lower than 15. I wouldn't go more than 30. But I found 25% to be, a reasonable amount to charge where you're going to make good money and the owner is going to make good money, right? So if we just took a simple example of if a property brings in, say, $4,000 a month on Airbnb, to keep the math simple, if you're charging 25%, okay, cool. Then you're going to make 1,000 and the owner gets 3,000. Now, even if you back out cleaning expense and supplies and everything else, say that's another $600. Okay, cool. Now they're at $2,400 net profit for doing nothing when maybe they were only making $1,800 or $2,000. Well, you just made them an extra $400 to $600 just by investing in the furniture. Okay. And then you're running everything in the middle for them. Now, Mike and I were talking offline. If you want to do some simple math, if your goal is $5,000 a month, okay, cool. If you find 5 properties that can do $4,000 a month, great. Then you've hit your goal. Or if you find, say, 2 properties that do $10,000 a month, you've hit your goal. So the moral of the story is if you go after either larger or nicer properties that are going to generate more revenue, then it's going to take you a lot less properties to hit your income goal. Right? So Mike, your numbers are astronomical because you found a sweet spot where you've got nice properties in good areas that aren't super expensive, but they pump out a lot of cash flow. So you don't need 30 properties to make 20 grand a month. You needed 6 or 8 of them to do that.
Yep. Yeah. Six hit that 20K a month. And that was a mix of owner and co-hosting. So 6 units. Yeah.
So the beauty with this model is if you've been studying real estate for a while, the old game was do wholesaling. That's the no money down strategy, right? That was the whole game. You get in, you get out, you might make 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 bucks at a whack. And then you go back out and you do it again and again and again. And that's fine. And that works. It just takes a lot of hustle. And I know a lot of people doing it at a really high level that makes some serious money. But once the sale is done, you got to go back out and hunt again. With this, you go out and you hunt, and then you get that same money over and over and over and over again every single month in perpetuity, as long as you're doing a good job and getting results for those owners. So the reason I love it so much is you're allowed to control assets without using any of your own money. And you can reach financial freedom very quickly. I had to replace a 6-figure income, and I did it in a year and a half, where I was able to retire myself, my wife, and my mom through this co-hosting. So think about that. I think I was 32. Yeah, about 32 when I was financially free. That's insanity. I was only in the business a year and a half. It's crazy how quickly it can snowball and happen for you, where traditional real estate investing works. It just takes a lot longer to get there. So this is a nice way for you to get in the game, build up your cash flow. And then as you keep building, you take that excess cash flow, you save it, and then you go out and you buy more real estate. And then it just keeps multiplying over and over and over again. So if you're one of those people that are like, man, I want to get started with real estate investing, but you don't have the money, stop using that as an excuse. You just need to get a little more creative. You need to find a solution. The key to business is just finding problems and then creating solutions for those problems. And an easy one in this business is with co-hosting. Especially, I see a lot of real estate agents. I'm like, man, if you are not doing this and you're a real estate agent, you're out of your mind, because you're turning that one-time commission into recurring income over and over and over again. People are already coming to you because they know, like, and trust you to help them with one of the biggest financial decisions of their lives when they're buying a property. Now you're just like, hey, if you want me to help you, I can help you maximize your returns on this property, running it as a short-term rental. Is that something you're interested in? They're like, oh, that's interesting. Tell me more about that. Right. And it just opens up the conversation. But you don't have to be an agent. But if you are one, this is a layup. Okay. I am not an agent. So, I was an introverted accountant. So I was good with numbers, but I had to learn some people skills and everything else. But it's a great way to get in the game. Airbnb makes it super easy to do it just through the co-hosting right through their platform. And then as you want to scale, you can totally do that.
Yeah. And just to think about it, if you make as a side hustle, if you have 5 properties and you're making $1,000 a month from those properties, that's $5,000 a month out of those 5. That's $60,000 a year. That's $60,000 a year from a passive income stream, from a side hustle.
Which you want, if you wanted to, you could honestly turn around and use that as a down payment for your purchasing your first one.
Exactly.
I'm curious, what's the average income in the US right now? Average annual income in the United States. Wow. US Census Bureau lists the annual median income is 36,000 in 2019. That can't be right.
40,000.
No, here we go. Average annual wage in 2019 in the US was $51,916. $52,000. You can double that just with getting into co-hosting with 5 properties or 2 higher end properties.
Yeah.
With none of your own money. So that's why I'm just like, I'm screaming this from the rooftops. I'm like, if you're broke or if you're struggling, this is not easy. This is a simple solution, right? You got to put in some work to get this done, but the payoff is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then once you learn how to do it, your confidence goes up. Then you go from 5 to 10 to 20 to 50 to 100,000 a month. Then you're like, your whole world changes. You're like, what the hell just happened? You look back and you're like, holy cow, like this is insane.
So what are some ways to get started? We talk about this all the time, but what would you tell someone? Like, we always hear these limiting beliefs of, oh, I don't own any properties right now. How can I be a co-host? Or I'm not in real estate at all, but I like Airbnb. How do I become a co-host?
Yeah. So first things first, the best investment that you're ever going to make is in yourself. So you have to get educated. Before I started doing this, I went through 3 or 4 different programs about Airbnb, different coaching platforms. I probably spent, I don't know, $10,000 or $12,000, which people are like, oh, well, you had it. No, I didn't. I was broke. I put it all on credit cards, but I knew if I wanted to do this, I needed to learn what the hell I was doing. Okay. I do not advocate just going out and starting a co-host business if you don't know what the hell you're doing. It's just irresponsible. You're taking somebody else's property that they're entrusting you and you're just going to wing it. Like that is ethically, that is not right. So whether it's with me, whether it's with somebody else, like go and invest in some education to learn how to do this business the right way. It will be the best investment of your life, which is why I continue to invest insane amounts of money into my own personal development, because that is going to multiply over and over and over again. So first step is go out and you got to get educated. You got to know what the hell you're doing. Find somebody that's done it and created a repeatable process. Like that's it. And then you got to follow the process. So step 1, get educated, learn the specialized knowledge to do this. 2, surround yourself with people that are going to support, encourage, and challenge you. And then 3, go out there and start taking action. Like that's it. Those are the 3 steps. Get educated, surround yourself with the right people, and start taking action. And you're going to look foolish initially. You probably will look dumb or you'll make mistakes or whatever, but who cares? Like my son just started kindergarten. I remember when he was learning how to walk, he looked like a little drunken sailor running around. He couldn't stand up on his own 2 feet. But what was I going to say? Was I going to make fun of him? Like, did he feel bad about it? No, of course not. Was I going to cut him off? I'm like, all right, dude, you've tried enough. You're just not a walker. Of course not. Like, you're going to just try until you get a deal. And then you're going to keep going and going and going. But you got to have that drive, that persistence, and that burning desire to actually do something about it. If you expect it to just happen because you buy a course from somebody, you get the wrong attitude. You're paying for education to know what to do, but then you need to go out and actually do it.
Yeah. I don't think I ever asked you, how did you find your first co-host deal?
I always mix it up. They came around the same time. I got 2 of them right around the same time. So one of them was first. So I reached out to a guy through Craigslist that was listing his place. And I told him about the concept. This was after I had reached out to a bunch of people, and a lot of people were like, told me to pound sand or whatever. And he was really interested. And he's like, that sounds awesome, but I'm going to do it myself. And I was like, okay, cool. That's great. Here's a couple pointers. Here's some things you should do. Now, some people, they get pissy about it and they're like, see, everybody's just going to want to do it themselves. Screw this guy, whatever. No, like I was like, okay, great. You should make sure that you have this, this, and this, and then do these couple things, and that'll help you out. And he was like, awesome. I really appreciate it. 6 months later, he hits me up and he's like, hey man, you're right. This works, but I really don't want to do this anymore. Will you take over this property for me? And that was how I got my first co-host deal. I led with value. And then 6 months later, the guy came back and just gave me 2 properties, and then introduced me to 2 other investors that gave me 2 properties. And then the other one came from, I was renting a desk at a work bar, which is kind of like a WeWork. I was renting a desk space for like, I don't know, $50 a month or something. And I met a guy that had an office there, and we just started talking. He had a financial services company, and he's like, hey, I just bought this duplex. I've already got a long-term tenant in one of the units. Tell me more about this Airbnb thing. And then he took a chance on me because he saw me there day in and day out grinding and putting in the work. He just took a chance on me. And then the other one came from hosting a local meetup. I held a local meetup every single month. I called it Airbnb Mastery, where I was trying to get local investors to come, local landlords, and teach them about the upside of Airbnb. And I got a property out of that. That first guy brought somebody to that meeting and was like, hey, you need to talk to this guy. He's got some pretty cool stuff he's doing. And that was actually step 1 or step 2 of the birth of the coaching programs, because I had so many people come. Like Chris Petsy was actually one of the first guys that came, and they were like, dude, that sounds amazing. I want to do it myself. Do you have anything that you could teach me how to do it? And I was like, that's interesting. I always loved teaching. I was always passionate about it, but that was like the first spark. And then I went to Grant Cardone's conference a couple months later, and I wrote out the course outline on the flight home, and then it was launched after that. So
that's awesome. I never knew that.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, ours is very similar. First was actually family. So we told our family what we were doing, and they said, hey, why don't you try it out with one of our units? And we did, and it was successful. The second was, I told another one of my buddies who was doing Airbnb. I was telling him, hey, we're looking to scale through co-hosting. And 2 months later, he called me and said, I got a co-hosting lead for you. And we closed that like that week. Let's see, our third one was our neighbor at one of our vacation homes that we run on Airbnb. And I dropped off a 6-pack of beer and in my business card, and he called me back. He said, hey, do you know any short-term rental property managers? And I said, yeah, actually I do. And then the last one, the most recent one, was the other side of a duplex at the beach that family owned as well. So their neighbor said, hey, we want to rent it out as well. Can you rent it out for us? So these things just kind of came to us after we went out there and told everybody what we were doing. But it's taking action, like you said, and just kind of getting out there, getting the word out there. The financial benefits are there. We got to have the systems in place and really the specialized knowledge to do this, but anybody can do it. Like anybody can do this. So
100%. You just got to put yourself out there. And that's the scariest part. Cause I know for me, for a long time, I was taking these courses and listening to the podcasts and reading the books and doing all that. And that's exciting, but that doesn't move the needle. Then it gets real and it gets scary when you start putting yourself out there and you're reaching out to owners and you're taking phone calls and you're taking meetings and you're like, holy shit, I don't know if I can do this, right? But you just keep pushing. And that's why having that strong why and getting your mindset right, like we talked about yesterday, getting your confidence and your identity and your self-image up, that's why it's so crucial. Because if you don't have that stuff in place, that's why most people quit, because it's so uncomfortable at the beginning because it's new and it's scary, that if you don't have that foundation and the accountability and the support behind you, it's a tall order. It's an uphill battle. But if you persist, I'm telling you, you can absolutely do it. Just like Mike said, anybody can do this.
Yeah. Well, cool. Anything else?
I think that's it, man. I think this one's short and sweet. Like, what is co-hosting? How do you get in the game? The barrier to entry is basically zero. So it just takes courage and a burning desire to go do it. Honestly.
It does. And taking that action.
Yeah.
Taking that first step and then taking that next step and just taking action consistently. So
100%. So again, if you want a deeper dive and see some case studies on this, just watch the free masterclass at strsecrets.com. It's totally free. And then we'll be doing another live webinar at the end of this month. Mike may or may not be on there, depending when the baby comes. But it's going to be September 22nd. I think we're
24th is the due date. I think she's going to come on the 21st night of September, but that's the Earth,
which
Wind,
is
and Fire.
right when the webinar is going to be on the 22nd, right? And then the baby's due the 24th. Yeah. So if the baby comes early, I'll do that one solo. But we will have it on the 22nd. So we'll have the sign up page ready to go pretty soon, but just wanted to give you guys a little preview of what's coming up this month. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Anything else you want to add, Mike?
No, that's it. I don't have any topics for next week for Monday or Tuesday. So if you guys want to throw some suggestions into the comments here, definitely take them. And hopefully we can continue to add value to you guys and help out. So.
Yeah. Oh, one other thing too, that I just want to throw out there too, that you and I are working on with JM on the back end is we're setting up a new texting community too. So we can also leverage that. So if you have questions, we'll have the number set up. We're still getting all the back end squared away now, but we'll have a number that you can text your questions to. And whether you want to stay anonymous or you want us to call you out, that's totally cool. But we'll have that set up. So that'll be another feedback loop. So if you have questions, it'll be a way for you to get in touch. So
yeah, awesome. I love it. Looking forward to it.
Awesome, everybody. Well, hope you enjoyed this. Enjoy the rest of your week. Go out there, take some action, and we'll talk to you guys soon.